Welcome back to HeadSpace Radio. We have another episode here. I do want to apologize for my August 11th posting video. It did not get posted on the day it should have got posted. I apologize for that. A lot was going on. And be rolling out some videos a little bit more frequently throughout the week, so I apologize for that. Let's get into it. So this is just a free ball one I'm doing right now. I wouldn't say it's an inner thought, nor was this a random rant. Maybe it is a random rant. We'll classify it as a random rant. Life has gotten harder. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care where you're from, whether you're in the United States, the United Kingdom, EU countries, Canada, in the Caribbean, and so on and so forth, Africa, anywhere in the world, Australia, you name it. And being in the Western world, you realize that you obviously have a lot more opportunities than others in developing nations. But that doesn't mean it invalidates how tough it is that you're going through. You know what I mean? So this episode, I guess, is a pseudo rant, but just a talk, a conversation that we're having. You get what I'm saying? And this conversation that we're having, I believe needs to be had a lot more. And I think the tough thing about having a conversation like this is that, one, even if you do have a friend group that is willing to have this conversation with you, or has time to speak with you, or you don't have a friend group or you don't have those type of people to have that kind of conversation with you, it kind of gets a little messed up, because now you're just like me. I do have some friends that I could speak to about this, but you kind of end up like me, and you're kind of speaking about it in your own head. Yeah. Your own headspace. Boom. Like that pun, huh? You like what I did there, huh? That was pretty cool. So, yeah. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the economy was a lot better. You could get a job, and now you have to figure out where you stand in this world. And if you have offspring, if you have children, you are in a tougher position, because now you're not just trying to feed yourself, you're trying to feed other people. And if you were hard on yourself before, there is like a multiplier effect that now gets worse, because now you feel that you aren't doing what you're supposed to do based on the positions that you're in, and you're behind schedule. You always feel like you're behind. And even if you have a little bit of money, or let's say you get something short term, it's never enough, because it's going to run out soon. It's only there for a short time and not a long time. And, as men, we tend to think in the moment, but we also plan for the future and what could have happened, what should have happened, what didn't happen. Let's say you don't have enough, hours to apply for employment insurance, or you don't have, you're trying to apply for positions, but then you apologize for that. A little bit of disturbance going on in the home for a long time. Well, it's been a while since I recorded a podcast at home. To be fair, I'm going to be doing another one in the car. But yeah, man. I do apologize. I don't know where I left off, and I'm using some janky technology here. I am doing research on better platforms to do stuff like this, but in due time, ladies and gentlemen, in due time. But yeah, you always in tough circumstances, you always have to remember that you know tough circumstances create hard men. Pause. Not like that, but men of endurance, men of sustainability, men of determination, men of focus, drive. You know what I mean? Because you are going through so much that you either wither and die or you go through it. And you got to go through it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where, I'll be real, that's where I'm at. And I think that's where a lot of people are at right now. So we just got to go through it. We have, we all have plans, but unfortunately, everything costs money. everything and anything. And we gotta keep going. We gotta figure it out. I recently started Uber. Well, recently. I did it like 2 days ago. No, correction. I did it yesterday. But I had an account for 8 years. Didn't really do it until today. Well, yesterday. Whenever you see this video, maybe 2 days from then. I don't know. But tried it out. I don't know. The problem with, this circumstance is that it's always going to bring back a current theme, a topic that I try my best not to bring back or talk about to the death of me. And it's that we are dealing with one of the highest unemployment rates in the world, I think. And Toronto's one of the worst, or Ontario, I should say, is one of the worst unemployment provinces right now in 2025. If you're listening this in the future, that's what I'm referring to. And it's tough. It's tough. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? What do you do? How do you do it? How do you push forward and past a circumstance like this? You try to be your own boss. There's a certain level of being your own boss until you have to pay the piper. Whether it's e-commerce, whether it's, even doing media like this, paying for ads to maybe get your thing a little bit more visible. Who knows? Maybe it grows more organic. It is what it is. But even if you have a degree or two or none or well experienced at everything and anything, you are getting your behind kicked. And listen, this is the podcast for you. We can all vent. We can talk crap. We can, say what's on our minds. It's here. I got you. You know what I mean? It's tough. We all want, here's the thing. No one wants a handout. There are people that want handouts. But I think overall, people just want to get a job and work. You know what I mean? Some people want consistency. A lot of people need consistency. I'm one of those people. But if you're inconsistent, it's up, it's down, it's down, it's down, it's up, it's down, you're screwed because you'll never catch up and you're always falling behind. Oh my goodness, it's insane. I believe Doug Ford, the premier of Ontario, if you're from America, that's pretty much the senator of the state. he allowed more people, I think over 100,000 more people, to be allowed to work within the province. And I'm not against people working in the province or in Canada or wanting to work. It's the problem that there is no work, or very few and far between. You know what I'm saying? What do we do? How do we do it? How do you go through this? You know what I'm saying? We just gotta be a little bit more strategic about our decisions, you know, and a lot of people are turning to gambling, you know, prop bets, parlays, blackjack, poker, roulette, everything, you name it, you know. And I dabble in the sites here and there. You know, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you on HeadSpace Radio and say that, oh, be better than that. And then, you know, I'm out here, you know, trying to get a suit of trips, you know. But honestly, it's tough. It's tough, man. I just saw this video of this man who, I forgot his Instagram account. I apologize. It's his brother. I believe he's from Africa, but, you know, Canadian citizen. And he's talking about the new laws that are being passed to make sure that Canadian, well, people, if you're in Canada, you're Canadian for the most part, that employers, if you get an interview, that's if you get an interview, they can't ghost you after that. They have to call you back and say, hey, listen, or email you back and say, listen, we thank you for coming out and we're going in a different direction. That's a better way of looking at things. And then there are other aspects. Yeah, sorry about that. So now also they can't be very ambiguous with the position of the pay. You can't say this job pays $500 to $1,200 a week. You know, obviously, you know, that's some bullshit, right? It would probably be more so 45,000 to, let's say, 46 or 50 grand, you know, $5,000 off, $5,000 on, you know, give or take. Or 10 grand on, 10 grand off, give or take, you know, shit like that. And I think it needs to be a little bit like, listen, asshole, you're getting paid 45 to start. 2 years from now, you might get 50. You know, and I think that's where it's going in the direction, and I think that's amazing. Another thing, and they also have to discuss why the job is being posted, if it's a position that's already being filled, or you know, a new position or whatnot, you know. And I believe the person that does this, let me look this up, sorry. Eddie Osman. Yeah. Shout out to him on Instagram. I followed his stuff. But yeah, he did his thing. He did a thing there. Yeah, man. It's getting crazy. You know what I mean? People want to work but can't work. You know, that's the worst feeling ever, to want to do for self, or to be, you know, in a position where you can, you know, work and then do for self. But you're pretty much not the same, but in this position of the person that is not wanting to work and figuring out a way not to work. You know, it's tough. We're in that type of environment, unfortunately, and it's tough, man. I don't know what to say. I got good news. Things are getting better next month, but that's not tomorrow. That's next month. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but it's only for a certain amount of time. That being said, I am going to use that situation to the fullest advantage. And if you ever do get a circumstance of your own, hypothetically speaking, a job, something under the table, whatever the case may be, you got to make sure that you don't take it for granted and you figure out what it is that you need to do with it. And please, whether you have a shopping addiction, a gambling addiction, a drinking addiction, or you just like to buy weed, or any of these situations, make sure, please, that you mitigate, like you reduce the usage of any of these things. I'm not gonna tell you to stop. I wish you would, but times are times. In a maple leaf world, in a world where you could just turn things off that you're hooked on or addicted to, that's freaking impossible. Damn near impossible. So I'm rooting for you. Y'all better be rooting for me. But this is one of those serious tone podcasts. You know what I'm saying? So don't give up. You know what I'm saying? Don't give up. Don't jump off any type of building. Don't end your life. Don't quit. People are counting on you, and you're counting on yourself. Remember that. Understand that. Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy out here, man. I'm telling you. So I feel for everyone because I talk to people, like a lot of people. Whether I'm going to get groceries, I talk to people. Same thing. I live in an apartment building. I'm in the elevator. Same thing. Yo, rent's due. Envelopes on doors. I'm like, wow. Same thing. It is crazy. It is crazy. And I don't know how you would slice it. I don't know how you go about it, but I just feel like even if the other people were in office, the oppositions. So if you're a Democrat in America, you have a Republican in office. If you're a conservative in Canada, you have a liberal in office. I feel like regardless, obviously things would be different in certain aspects for sure, by miles. But I feel as if certain things would remain the same because I don't want to put on my tinfoil hat, but I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell y'all, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's tough, but y'all, I'm gonna end it short. Thank you for listening to HeadSpace Radio today. And yeah, I'm rooting for you, so don't give up. Like and comment. Tell me your story, how you're dealing with things. Do you got a mortgage you got to pay? Do you got mouths to feed? Do you have to take care of your mother, your father, your wife, your daughter, your son? What's up? Are you a paycheck away from being homeless in a tent? Do you live in a tent? And how much are tents? Trying to get me one myself just in case. But yeah, just praying for you guys. All right. So, in that note, I got to go. Peace.